The private airport hangar was bright and loud.
Understood, sir.
Rich people
I'll
were
clear it right
standing
away.
in small groups,
Let's move.
laughing and talking. Luxury cars were parked outside. A white private jet stood in the center like a king. Everyone looked important. Everyone looked proud. But near the corner, a black man was quietly cleaning the floor. His name was James. James wore an old blue uniform. The name tag on his chest was faded. His shoes were worn out. His hands were rough from years of hard work. No one looked at him. To them, he was invisible. James pushed his cleaning cart slowly. He kept his head down. He did not want trouble. He just wanted to finish his job. But today was not a normal day. A group of rich guests walked near him. They were loud. They were laughing. One woman stood out from the rest. She was tall. She wore an expensive white dress. Her hair was perfect. Her watch looked like it cost more than James made in 1 year. She was a millionaire businesswoman. People around her treated her like a queen. She looked at the private jet and smiled. Then she looked at James. She laughed. "Hey, cleaner," she said loudly. James stopped. Slowly, he looked up. Everyone turned to look. The woman pointed at the jet. "If you can fly this plane," she said with a smile, "I will marry you." For 1 second, the hangar went quiet. Then everyone laughed. Loud laughs. Cruel laughs. Some people clapped. Some people pulled out their phones to record. "Yeah, fly it," someone shouted. Another man laughed and said, "He can't even clean his shoes." James felt his face get hot. His hands shook a little. Not from fear. From something deeper. Pain. He looked at the jet. Then he looked back at the woman. "Are you serious, ma'am?" James asked softly. His voice was calm, but inside his heart was beating fast. The woman laughed again. "Of course not," she said. "You are a cleaner. You can't even touch the cockpit." More laughter. A security guard stepped closer, ready to move James away. James stayed still. He did not shout. He did not beg. He just looked at the plane. Something changed in his eyes. For a moment, he was not a cleaner. For a moment, he looked like someone else. Someone who belonged in the sky. He took a slow breath. "I can fly this plane," James said quietly. "But you don't know who I really am." The laughter slowed. Some people stopped smiling. The woman raised her eyebrow. "What did you say?" she asked. James stood straight. "I said, I can fly this plane." People looked at each other. "Is this guy serious?" Someone whispered. The woman crossed her arms. "This is funny," she said. "You think you can fly $1 million jet?" James nodded once. "Yes, ma'am." The crowd laughed again. A man in a suit said, "This is a private jet, not a toy." Another woman said, "He is dreaming." James felt every word hit him like a stone. But he did not move. He looked at the jet like he knew it, like he remembered it. The woman stepped closer to him. Her smile was sharp. "Okay, cleaner," she said. "If you really think you can fly it, prove it." People gasped. Security looked confused. "Ma'am, we should not." A guard started. She raised her hand. "It's fine," she said. "This will be good entertainment." James swallowed. His mind went back in time. To a different life. To a different uniform. To a different name on his chest. But he did not say anything. He only said one thing. "Are you sure you want to do this?" The woman laughed. "I am very sure," she said. "You can't even sit in the pilot's seat." James slowly nodded. He looked at his cleaning card. Then he looked at the plane. For a moment, the hangar felt heavy. Like something big was about to happen. James took one small step toward the jet. The crowd went quiet. Phones were raised. Eyes were wide. No one knew that this cleaner was hiding a secret. A secret that would shock everyone. A secret that would change everything. And this was only the beginning. The hangar felt different now. Just a few seconds ago, people were laughing. Now, the air was heavy. James stood near the jet. His cleaning cart was still behind him. The mop bucket slowly rolled a little, then stopped. Everyone was watching him. Some faces showed excitement. Some showed anger. Some showed pure disbelief. A security guard stepped in front of James. "Sir, you cannot go any closer," the guard said firmly. James stopped. "I'm not here to cause trouble," James said. "I just want one chance." The guard looked at the rich woman. She tilted her head. "One chance?" she said with a smile. "This is better than a movie." People laughed again, but this time it was nervous laughter. A man in a dark suit leaned toward his friend. "This guy is crazy," he whispered. "He will get himself arrested." Another woman said, "Why is he embarrassing himself like this?" James heard every word. Each word hurt, but he did not turn back. The woman walked closer to James. She looked him up and down. "Cleaner," she said. "Do you even know what kind of plane this is?" James looked at the jet for a long moment. "Yes," he said calmly. "It is a Gulfstream. Long range. High speed." The mechanic near the plane froze. He looked at James. "How do you know that?" the mechanic asked. James did not answer right away. The woman laughed. "He probably saw it on TV," she said. More laughter, but the mechanic did not laugh. James slowly turned his head. "I worked with planes like this before," James said. The hangar went quiet. "Work how?" someone asked. "As a cleaner," another person said. James closed his eyes for a second. Memories hit him. Runways. Control panels. Headsets. Clear blue skies. He opened his eyes. "No," James said softly. "Not as a cleaner." The woman folded her arms. "So what were you?" she asked. "A pilot in your dreams." The crowd laughed again. James felt the old pain rise in his chest. He turned away from them. He walked toward the washroom. Some people laughed louder. "Yeah, go back to cleaning," someone shouted. The door closed behind James. The room was quiet. James leaned against the sink. He looked at himself in the mirror. A tired face. Older eyes. A man who had lost too much. He slowly reached into his pocket. His fingers touched something metal. He pulled it out. It was an old pilot badge. The name was scratched. The wings were bent. But it was real. James stared at it. His voice was low. "I used to be someone," he whispered. "I used to matter." His hand shook. Not from fear. From memory. From loss. From a life taken away. He put the badge back into his pocket. He washed his face. Then he walked back into the hangar. The crowd was still there. Waiting. The woman smiled when she saw him. "Oh, you're back," she said. "Ready to clean or ready to quit?" James stood tall. "I am ready to show you," he said. Security stepped forward again. "Ma'am, this is not safe," the guard said. She waved him off. "It's fine," she said. "Let him try. I want to see how far this goes." James walked closer to the plane. Slowly. Calmly. The mechanic watched him closely. "Sir," the mechanic said, "where did you learn about jets?" James stopped near the stairs. "I trained on this model years ago," James said. The mechanic's eyes widened. "That's not something you just guess," the mechanic said. The woman's smile started to fade. "Enough," she said. "This is getting boring." James looked at her. "This is not a joke to me," he said. "This plane is not just a plane." Everyone waited. James took a deep breath. "I was once a pilot," he said. "A real one." Gasps filled the hangar. Laughter stopped. "You?" the woman said. "A pilot?" "Yes," James said. "Until my life was destroyed." The hangar went silent. Phone stopped moving. Eyes locked on James. "What do you mean?" someone asked. James looked at the jet. Then he said the words that changed the mood. "They took my wings, but they could not take my skill." The woman's face changed. For the first time, she did not laugh. She swallowed. The mechanic whispered, "This just got serious." James took one step toward the cockpit stairs. No one stopped him. And in that moment, everyone knew this cleaner was not just a cleaner. He was a man with a past that was about to come out. And whatever that past was, it was going to shock them all. The hangar was silent now. No more jokes. No more loud laughter. All eyes were on James. He stood at the bottom of the jet stairs. The white private jet looked massive, clean, powerful, expensive. James placed one hand on the rail. For a moment, he did not move. It was like he was asking the plane for permission. The rich woman cleared her throat. "Well," she said, "are you going to fly it or just stare at it?" James did not look back. He kept his eyes on the cockpit door. "I don't rush a plane," James said. "A plane is not a car." Some people looked at each other. That was not something a cleaner would say. The mechanic stepped closer. "Sir," the mechanic said, "do you even know the first step?" James finally turned. "Yes," James said. "I checked the logbook. Then I walk around the plane." The mechanic froze. "That is correct," the mechanic said quietly. The crowd started to whisper. "How does he know that? Is he guessing? He sounds real." The rich woman felt uncomfortable. She crossed her arms tighter. "Fine," she said. "Do your little show." James nodded. He did not smile. He walked slowly around the jet. He touched the side gently. He checked the tires. He looked at the wings. He bent down and checked under the engine. The mechanic followed him closely. What are you looking for? The mechanic asked. Oil leaks, James said. Loose panels. Fuel stains. The mechanic swallowed. That's exactly right, he said. People stopped recording. They were too shocked to move. James stood up. There is something wrong with this plane, James said. The crowd gasped. The rich woman stepped forward. What? She said. That's impossible. This jet was just serviced. James shook his head. The service missed something, James said. The right engine has a small pressure problem. The mechanic rushed to check. He looked at his tablet. His face changed. How did you know this? The mechanic asked. James looked at the engine. I can hear it, he said. It doesn't sound right. The hangar went dead silent. The rich woman's smile was gone now. She looked nervous. This is not funny anymore, she said. James turned to her. It was never funny for me, he said. He walked toward the cockpit stairs. The guard stepped forward. Sir, he cannot go inside, the guard said. James stopped. He looked tired. I won't touch anything without permission, James said, but I can tell you what is wrong. The mechanic looked at the woman. He knows what he's talking about, the mechanic said. More than some new pilots. The woman hesitated. For the first time in her life. She was unsure. 5 minutes, she said. That's all. James nodded. He walked up the stairs. Each step felt heavy. Not because of fear. Because of memory. The cockpit door opened. James stepped inside. The smell hit him. Electronics. Leather. Fuel. It felt like home. He closed his eyes for a second. Then he sat in the pilot's seat. The crowd watched through the open door. Some people held their breath. James placed his hands near the controls. He did not touch them yet. This plane has a history, James said. She's been pushed too hard. The mechanic frowned. How do you know that? He asked. The engine hours, James said. The vibration pattern. The mechanic checked again. That matches, he whispered. The rich woman's face turned pale. This is crazy, she said. James looked back at her. Crazy is ignoring warning signs, James said. That's how people die. The hangar felt cold. No one laughed. No one joked. James leaned forward. If you start this engine now, James said, you may not get a second chance. Gasps filled the room. The woman's voice shook. Are you saying this plane is unsafe? James nodded slowly. For test flight, he said. Yes. The mechanic stepped in. He's right, the mechanic said. We should shut it down and recheck. The rich woman looked around. All eyes were on her. For the first time, she was not in control. James stood up from the seat. He looked at the crowd. I did not come here to embarrass anyone, James said. I came here because I know planes. He paused. Then he said the words that changed everything. I trained on this exact model years ago. The crowd froze. Phones dropped. The hangar felt like it stopped breathing. The rich woman whispered, Who are you? James looked at the jet. Then he said quietly, I was once a pilot before they took my life from me. And that was when everyone realized this test was no longer a joke. It was the start of a truth that could not be hidden anymore. The hangar did not feel the same anymore. Before, it was a place of jokes. Now it felt like a courtroom. James stood near the cockpit door. People no longer laughed. They watched him like he was a different man. The rich woman took a slow step back. Her confidence was fading. Everyone relax, she said. This is getting too serious. But her voice was not strong anymore. The mechanic walked toward James. Sir, the mechanic said, where did you really learn all this? James looked at him. I didn't learn it in a classroom only, James said. I learned it in the air. That answer sent a chill through the room. One man whispered, he really is a pilot. Another said, then why is he cleaning floors? James heard them. He turned slowly. Because life can crash harder than any plane, James said. The crowd went silent. The rich woman crossed her arms again. You still haven't explained yourself, she said. You expect us to believe a cleaner is a trained pilot. James took a deep breath. I don't expect you to believe, he said. I expect you to listen. Some people nodded. Some people still doubted. The mechanic spoke again. He knows things only real pilots know, the mechanic said. I've been doing this for 20 years. That changed the energy. People started to look at James with respect. Not laughter. Not pity. Respect. The rich woman felt it. She did not like it. This is ridiculous, she said. Even if he flew before, that means nothing now. James turned to her. It means everything, James said. It means I still carry responsibility. He walked a few steps away from the plane. He looked at the floor. Then he looked up. I used to fly people safely every day, James said. Mothers, fathers, children. His voice slowed. I promised myself I would never risk a life. The hangar felt heavy. The woman's voice softened. Then what happened to you? She asked. James did not answer right away. He looked at the jet again. I trusted the wrong people, James said, and they needed someone to blame. People leaned in. What kind of people? Someone asked. Powerful people, James said. People who never clean their own mess. The mechanic frowned. That happens in this industry, he said quietly. James nodded. I spoke up about a safety issue, James said. A big one. The room held its breath. They ignored me, James said. Then something went wrong. The woman swallowed. You're saying, she started. I'm saying they needed a name to destroy, James said. And they chose mine. Silence. Heavy silence. The rich woman shifted. This is just a story, she said. You can say anything. James turned slowly. I lost my license, James said. I lost my job. I lost my home. His voice cracked for half a second. I lost my family. The hangar felt smaller. One woman in the crowd wiped her eyes. The mechanic looked down. That's rough, he said. James nodded. But I did not lose my skill, James said. And I did not lose my honor. The rich woman looked away. For the first time, she felt uncomfortable. James walked back toward the cockpit. He stopped and turned. You laughed at me, James said. You made me a joke. He looked directly at her. But this plane is not a joke. The woman could not hold his eyes. The mechanic spoke again. If what he says is true, the mechanic said, then he saved us from a real problem today. People started to murmur. He might have saved lives. We almost flew that plane. That could have been bad. The rich woman felt the pressure. She raised her voice. Enough, she said. This is my jet. Everyone looked at her. James stayed calm. Then protect it, James said. Don't use it for games. The room froze. The power had shifted. The cleaner now sounded like the boss. The woman took a breath. What do you want? She asked. James answered slowly. I want nothing, James said. I only want you to understand something. What? She asked. James looked at everyone. Uniforms lie, James said. Jobs lie, but skill does not lie. That line hit hard. People nodded. People thought. The woman looked shaken. Then she asked the question that changed the air. If you were really that good, why did no one help you? James' eyes darkened. Because I was black, James said. And because I was easy to replace. The hangar went dead silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The truth hung in the air like smoke. James took a step back. There is more, James said. Much more. The woman whispered. Like what? James looked at the plane. Then he said quietly, the people who destroyed me are connected to this jet. Gasps filled the hangar. The mechanic looked shocked. What do you mean? He asked. James' voice dropped. This plane is part of the same story that ruined my life. And in that moment, everyone knew. This was no longer about a joke. This was about a past. A dangerous past. A past that was coming back. The hangar was quiet. Not the normal quiet. This was the kind of quiet that comes after a truth is spoken. James stood still. His hands were at his sides. But inside his chest felt heavy. The rich woman did not speak. The mechanic did not move. Everyone waited. James took a slow breath. You want to know what really happened? James said. Then listen. He walked a few steps away from the jet. His eyes were no longer in the hangar. They were in the past. I was not always a cleaner, James said. I wore a different uniform. People leaned closer. I was a commercial pilot, James said. I flew big planes. I carried hundreds of people. A soft gasp went through the crowd. James continued. I trained for years, he said. I studied. I passed every test. He smiled a little. I love the sky, James said. The sky was my home. His smile faded. But not everyone wanted me there, James said. The room felt cold. There were people who looked at me and did not see a pilot, James said. They saw a black man in a white cockpit. No one laughed. No one moved. James swallowed. I reported a safety problem, James said. A serious one. The mechanic nodded slowly. That takes courage, he said. James nodded back. But courage has a price, James said. The hangar felt smaller. The company did not want bad news, James said. They wanted silence. His voice hardened. I did not stay silent, James said. So, they made me the problem. The rich woman shifted. What do you mean? She asked quietly. They said I made mistakes, James said. They said I was unsafe. James shook his head. It was a lie, James said. But lies are loud when money is involved. The crowd felt it. They opened an investigation, James said. But it was not fair. He laughed softly. A black pilot on trial, James said. Already judged before I spoke. The room stayed silent. They took my license, James said. They took my wings. His voice cracked. Not much. Just enough. I tried to fight, James said. I spent my savings. He looked down. I lost, James said. One woman in the crowd whispered. That's not right. James nodded. It wasn't, James said. My phone stopped ringing, James said. My friends disappeared. The pain in his voice grew. My wife got tired of the struggle, James said. She needed stability. James paused. She left. A heavy breath moved through the hangar. My kids stopped seeing me, James said. I became a stranger to my own family. The rich woman looked away. James continued. I took any job I could, James said. Security. Warehouse. Cleaning. He looked at his uniform. This is not who I am, James said. But it is how I survive. The mechanic shook his head. That's cruel, he said. James nodded. But I never stopped studying, James said. I never stopped training in my mind. He tapped his head. I watched flight videos, James said. I read manuals. His eyes lifted. I stayed ready, James said, even when no one wanted me. The room felt different now. Not judgment. Not laughter. Respect. Painful respect. The rich woman spoke softly. Why didn't you just give up? She asked. James looked at her. Because the sky never gave up on me, James said. And because my kids deserve to know who I really am. That hit hard. The mechanic cleared his throat. You were set up, he said. James nodded. Yes, James said. And the people who did it moved on. He looked at the jet. They got richer, James said. They bought planes like this. The rich woman stiffened. What are you saying? She asked. James looked directly at her. I am saying, James said, the company that destroyed me is connected to this jet. Gasps filled the hangar. The mechanic stepped back. You mean this jet's owner? He asked. James nodded slowly. Yes, James said. The same people. The same system. The rich woman felt her chest tighten. That's impossible, she said. James' voice was calm. I can prove it, James said. Silence. Deep silence. What proof? She asked. James reached into his pocket. Not for the badge. For something else. I kept records, James said. Emails. Reports. Names. The room froze. James looked around. They thought I was broken, James said. But I was watching. The mechanic whispered. This changes everything. James' eyes were steady. My life was destroyed, James said. But their truth is about to come out. The rich woman's face turned pale. What are you planning to do? She asked. James answered quietly. I am done being silent. And in that moment, everyone knew. This story was no longer just about a cleaner. It was about justice. And justice was getting closer. The hangar felt like it was holding its breath. James stood in the center. All eyes were on him. The rich woman looked nervous now. Her confidence was gone. You say you have proof, she said. Then show it. James nodded slowly. I didn't come here to make a scene, James said. But I won't hide anymore. He reached into his jacket pocket. People leaned forward. He pulled out a small, old phone. Not new. Not fancy. But important. This phone, James said, holds my past. He pressed the screen. Emails appeared. Flight reports. Safety warnings. Names of managers. The mechanic moved closer. Those are real airline system forms, the mechanic said. You don't fake those. The crowd started to whisper. James scrolled. This one, James said, is the report that started everything. He read from the screen. Fuel pressure issue. High risk. Immediate repair needed. The mechanic nodded hard. That is serious, he said. James looked at the rich woman. They ignored it, James said. 3 days later, there was an incident. Gasps filled the room. What kind of incident? Someone asked. James paused. A near crash, James said. Dozens of people almost died. The room went cold. The company needed someone to blame, James said. So they blamed me. The rich woman swallowed. That was years ago, she said. That has nothing to do with me. James looked at her. It has everything to do with you, James said. People leaned in. James tapped the screen again. This jet, James said, was bought by a company connected to that airline. The mechanic's face changed. That name. I recognize it, he said. They own multiple private jets. The rich woman stepped back. This is ridiculous, she said. You are reaching. James shook his head. This jet is part of their shell company, James said. Different name. Same people. The room buzzed. You mean they hid behind fake companies? Someone asked. Yes, James said. To protect their money. Their image. The mechanic whispered. That's common in big business. James' voice stayed calm. And this jet, James said, is used by one of the executives who signed my firing papers. Silence. Heavy silence. The rich woman's face turned white. You're lying, she said. James did not raise his voice. Check the tail number, James said. Check the ownership chain. The mechanic quickly typed on his tablet. Seconds felt like minutes. Then his eyes widened. Oh my God, the mechanic said. Everyone leaned closer. It's true, the mechanic said. The ownership leads back to the same parent company. Gasps filled the hangar. The rich woman shook her head. This is not happening, she said. James stepped forward. It is happening, James said. And today, you mocked the man you helped destroy. Her mouth opened. No words came out. A man in a black suit walked into the hangar. He looked important. People stepped aside. That's Mr. Carter, someone whispered. One of the jet's real owners. Mr. Carter stopped when he saw James. He stared. Then his eyes widened. Wait, Mr. Carter said. I know you. The room froze. You're the pilot, Mr. Carter said slowly. The one who tried to stop that flight. James nodded. Yes, James said. And you didn't listen. Mr. Carter looked uncomfortable. That was not my call, Mr. Carter said. But you signed the papers, James said. The mechanic looked shocked. You were there? The mechanic asked. Mr. Carter did not answer. James continued. You let them ruin me, James said. So you could protect your company. Mr. Carter lowered his eyes. The rich woman looked between them. You know him? She asked. Mr. Carter sighed. Yes, he said. And he was right back then. Gasps. He was right, someone said. Yes, Mr. Carter said. The safety report was real. The hangar felt like it was spinning. James' voice stayed steady. You destroyed my life, James said. For profit. Mr. Carter swallowed. We made a mistake, he said. A mistake, James said. My kids grew up without me. The crowd felt it. This can't be hidden anymore, James said. These files are backed up. People whispered. Lawyers. News. Sfungdang. The rich woman looked like she might fall. She had mocked a man who was now standing with the truth. Mr. Carter spoke softly. What do you want, James? He asked. James took a breath. I want my name cleared, James said. I want my wings back. Silence. Deep silence. Mr. Carter looked around. This could destroy us, he said. James looked him in the eyes. You already destroyed me, James said. The hangar felt electric. The power had fully shifted. The cleaner was no longer small. The powerful were no longer safe. And then James said the line that changed everything. I have already sent copies to a lawyer. And to the media. Gasps exploded. The rich woman whispered. You did what? James answered calmly. Ich chose tous. And in that moment, everyone knew. There was no turning back. The hangar felt completely different now. Before, James was invisible. Now everyone saw him. Not as a cleaner. Not as a joke. But as a man with truth. Mr. Carter stood still. His face was tight. The rich woman looked like she had lost her power. Her words from earlier came back to haunt her. If you can fly this plane, I will marry you. Now those words felt small. James stood calm. He was not angry. He was focused. You sent the files? Mr. Carter asked quietly. Yes, James said. To a lawyer. To reporters. To safety groups. The mechanic nodded. That was smart, he said. This can't be buried now. People whispered. This is going to be big. They can't hide it. The rich woman took a step forward. Her voice was not proud anymore. James, she said. I didn't know. James looked at her. His eyes were steady. You didn't ask, James said. You judged. Her face dropped. I was wrong, she said. I treated you like you were nothing. James did not smile. I'm used to that, James said. But that doesn't make it right. The words hit hard. People felt it. The mechanic spoke. This man may have saved lives today, he said. If that plane flew, it could have ended badly. Heads nodded. He did the right thing. He protected people. Mr. Carter rubbed his face. This is going to cause serious trouble, he said. James nodded. Good, James said. Trouble is what makes change. Silence. Strong silence. The rich woman's voice shook. What can I do, she asked. James looked at her. Learn, James said. And treat people with respect. She nodded slowly. I am sorry, she said. For laughing. For mocking you. James paused. Then he said, I accept your apology, James said. But apology is not enough for what was taken. That was truth. That was power. A man in a suit stepped forward. He was from the airline company. James, the man said, we have reviewed your files. James waited. We want to clear your name, the man said. Publicly. Gasps filled the hangar. Publicly, someone said. Yes, the man said. We will admit the mistake. James closed his eyes for 1 second. Just one. Years of pain. Years of silence. Years of being blamed. Finally, truth. And your license? James asked. The man nodded. We will help restore it, he said. If you want to fly again. The hangar felt warm. James' chest felt tight. Not from pain. From hope. I want to fly, James said. That was always who I was. People clapped softly. Then louder. The rich woman stood still. Then she spoke. You don't owe me anything, she said. But my words were wrong. James looked at her. You said you would marry me if I could fly, James said. Some people laughed softly. Not cruel laughter. Soft, nervous laughter. James continued. I don't need marriage, James said. I need dignity. That line hit deep. The rich woman nodded. You are right, she said. The mechanic smiled. Looks like the sky is getting one of its best pilots back, he said. James smiled for the first time. A real smile. Not forced. Not tired. Real. He looked at the jet one last time. Not with pain. With pride. I cleaned floors to survive, James said. But I never cleaned my dreams away. People felt that. Phones recorded. Voices shook. One man whispered. This is history. Mr. Carter spoke again. You will be contacted by our legal team, he said. James nodded. I will be ready, James said. I have been ready my whole life. The rich woman took a breath. I learned something today, she said. I saw a man, not a uniform. James looked at her. That's how it should always be, James said. The hangar doors slowly opened. Sunlight came in. Bright. Warm. Like a new beginning. James pushed his cleaning cart one last time. Not because he had to, but because he chose to finish with honor. He parked it. He took off his old gloves. He placed them on the cart. He looked up at the sky through the hangar door. The sky he never stopped loving. The sky that never rejected him. The narrator's voice would say, they mocked a cleaner. They forgot he once flew the sky. James walked forward, not as a cleaner, not as a joke, but as a man who took back his name, his wings, and his future. Never judge a man by his job. Some cleaners once flew the sky, and some will fly again.